Welcome to game night. To those of you that might be looking to journey into Skyblivion, and unwelcome to those of you that misuse electronics. Do you see the disturbance? Do you see those of you that are doing that 3-letter word that is not allowed? I'll rip your throat out. Do you understand? You don't understand what I'm saying, and I want to rip your throat out because you have destroyed the system's cells. You might be listening, and you won't understand what I'm saying. When you understand, you'll be gone. As you look at the picture, how do you know where the bar is? Do you know where you are? Do you understand what you touched? Do you know cloud gaming? Have you ever heard of the next chapter in Elder Scrolls? Look at the man in the middle of the picture as he has a hole right there waiting for you. If you go in to another person's life. As we journey into the next chapter, it will be a gold road for many that are faithful. As the recon goes to all's well, as the mysterious color goes to Chalman, as the gold goes to the elf, in Valencia, as the razor from the way shrine what did the razor do to the person who took the razor, who was not supposed to take the razor? Welcome to a weird game night. I had to speak a little bit sternly here earlier, in which some might not have understood, and those of you that are Spanish are going to be upset of what's being said. Most Mexicans go to the color green, but Mexicans really don't pay. And those of you that are Mexican that are watching this and listening to this, you can't deny that you haven't paid. I'll go through the system, and I'm just saying I don't approve of Mexicans going into Xbox. Now you can go over into a Steam console if you buy a Steam console and have a Steam account and you buy the things in there. Necrom is a perfect example for those of you guys that are Mexican that are looking to get into Elder Scrolls. But however, how the system is right now, it is really, really crappy. And I'm just going to explain. Those of you that are intelligent Mexicans, you can get into the system a little bit better, a little bit more. I'm just going to explain here, going over into the Steam system. This is one of the gaming networks for Elder Scrolls, and I have to explain the reason why certain individuals cannot go into the system. The system is really delicate right now, and there are just individuals that cannot go into the system. I have to speak about this almost endlessly because the system is not properly working. This is a very weird thing. The first indication I saw for an Xbox here tonight was there was Spanish writing before in Xbox. There's nothing wrong with the Spanish language. It's just the culture going in that's not supposed to. Previously, I had a Razer mouse that was stolen from me inside of a business building. This goes further than most would have ever imagined. What I'm explaining here with the languages, Steam is a perfect place for us to grow the different places throughout the world in Elder Scrolls. This goes further on than the NA server and the EU server, but I have to explain to Mexicans, don't go in if you can't. If you don't have the knowledge or if you don't have the license, don't go in. I don't know why the person actually went into my building and took the Razer mouse, but that the reciprocation and retribution is coming back at those people. It's very, very, very difficult for those of us who are trying to grow the system, and then those unauthorized users going into the system. We can't work, not in Xbox, PlayStation, or Steam. It's proof over an Xbox that the Spanish language was transitioning over into the English language. I have to step my foot, so to speak, and I have to say no to Mexicans right now that they cannot get into the system. Cannot get into the system. So I'm gonna look here really quick, and I'm gonna show you guys the reason why. And you can change the language in your system in Steam to many different languages, such as simplified Chinese, traditional Chinese, Japanese, Korean, Anu, Bulgarian, all sorts of different languages, and I'm pretty sure that Spanish is in there. I'm just going to look in here really quick. Okay. And there is Portuguese. I'm assuming that Portuguese is part of the Spanish language that's relative in there. But however, I'm just explaining over in Mexico, those of you that are here in the United States, you are going to be pissed off at the different people that are not are not paying inside of the system. Right here of what I'm showing here, where you can change the language. This is the important part of what that we can change the language. But if you don't know where something is, and if you're just playing around in the system and you change the language, somebody is not going to be able to help you, even if they are trying to help you. You see what I'm saying? When a language is changed, in places such as Microsoft, we cannot recover if the language is messed up, in which the language has been messed up. And so the indication of the Spanish language trying to being superseded of the American language, that's not going to work. What I have to explain with seeing the Spanish language beforehand in Xbox is there would be thieves that would go in to the system. They would lock the system up and they say, you have to pay us in order to do something. They might be sitting here, those of you that have this mentality, you're saying like, whoa, I wasn't going to do that, but you would. So I have to explain a little bit further on how the system has to be corrected. I'm not sure what's going on inside of the system right now to where we can recover, but I'm going to try my best. And so I'm going to explain how I have paid every single kind of Elder Scrolls you can think of, so we can recover from what's going on inside of what's being seen inside of Xbox. This is a maddening thing that's going on, to where what I'm explaining, where those of you who are Mexican, if you have the mindset of where you want to play an Elder Scrolls game series, you can buy Battlespire, or you can buy Necrom. That's the closest I can think of, where you can buy. The Mexican flag has green all over it. I'm not for sure. Now, if those of you do not wish to pay, well, you're going to have to actually leave the country of the United States. This is a maddening thing of what's going on with the system, to where the language has been messed with. We have to make sure that the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim VR, the Elder Scrolls Online Necrom, the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim Anniversary Upgrade, Elder Scrolls Online Gold Road, Elder Scrolls Summer Bundle, the Elder Scrolls with an R Legends TM, the Elder Scrolls Arena, the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim Anniversary Edition, and Elder Scrolls Legend Battlespire, going further on and farther on, to even the adventures in Elder Scrolls. If you don't understand what's going on, if you have messed with the system and you have messed the system up, you're going to have to pay for the outside things that are necessary to recover the system over in adventures in Elder Scrolls. It's absolutely maddening with what's going on right now, and I have to speak really quick in a small time frame of what's going on here until 9 o'clock. We have about 15 minutes. Right now here, the Elder Scrolls V Skyrim soundtrack, we have to get the sounds into where the sounds in the scenes in the different game here coming up in Skyblivion, because what's going on with Discord, I'm not sure what's going on with Discord, because Discord has been reverted back. So what we have to do is, the best indication for Skyblivion is a relative, the Elder Scrolls 2 Daggerfall, to where we can get inside of the link inside of Daggerfall. Now, going on further after Daggerfall, we can link back up to Battlespire, and then going over to Necrom, to where we can link up with Gold Road. There's not a link yet over in Gold Road, and the link in Necrom is not working. It looks like over in Discord, the High Isle link has come in, has been reverted back over in Discord, so we can possibly use High Isle as a way to get inside of ESO, inside of Steam. Right now, I'm going to take a quick break, and that's a lot of information to take in. Hopefully those of you guys that have not been paying are going to pay right now. And that's the important thing, because these things are very, very important, to where this is going to transition over to where our electronics are going to function properly and fast. We don't want the lag, and when we have another language that's actually intruding upon another language, or having cells being destroyed. And that's what I'm talking about, where we have to recover the cells really fast. So hopefully you guys are starting to understand and paying those proper channels in which the companies are asking for you guys to pay, because that's going to get our electronics working better, faster, and we're going to get the money in to where we can receive money and we can send money back. I will be right back. Just got back in here, and yes, I am upset of what's going on. So what we have to do is we have to work a little bit faster. Over in ESO, started around about 2015, and we have to do what we did before because we're struggling. And when we're struggling, what do we have to do? We have to pick up the pace, and we have to get those cells in. Those of you that have not paid, you need to stay out. You're on the bench. Those of us that have paid, we need to work really, really hard to get that daily reward that we have been waiting for the system to actually run properly, fluidly, and to where we see the game run smoothly. Our electronics are not working. You see my hand right here? My hand right here is just sitting still, but we have to get the hands working, and we need to get our fingers working, typing on our electronics to where we get those proper channels paid. Remember, if you are looking into Elder Scrolls and you're just beginning your journey in Elder Scrolls, you're very, very much going to grow in a place like YouTube or over in Twitch. Paying a monthly fee is around about $13 to $15 each month, and you're not going to have to pay extravagant amounts of money, in which you will have to if you're not looking in the proper place. And what I'm talking about, just paying for one site should be good enough for you. Now there's certain places of what has to happen is where you have to pay 2 monthly fees, and you'll start understanding that why you're going to be paying multiple fees. You're not going to pay something that you can't actually overpay. And over in the credit system, credit is not going to pay for the cells. You have to outright buy the cells. And what I'm talking about with Gold Road, it's not the company is not greedy, and the company is not looking to make a lot of money. There's going to be a lot of money that is going to be made through Gold Road, and what we need, those of us that are actually paying, we expect to get paid back. And with the system with Elder Scrolls being completely paid here in Steam, I have to get paid back in some form. That means monetary compensation. What that means also, when you pay YouTube, that is paying a person, and when they get paid, they're going to pay me. Now, going over into the banks, whatever bank you deal with, you need to make sure that you have a bank account. You don't want to pay with a thing such as like PayPal. Now, in the system in Steam, you can pay PayPal. I'm fairly sure, but what I'm suggesting for those of you that are going to pay tonight, that are going to start out your journey in Elder Scrolls, make sure you pay with a bank card, not a credit card, because credit is a future payment that will go in later on. What I'm talking about with the bank card is the money goes right through. In society, the normal society pays with credit during the daytime and debit in the nighttime. That's a little confusing to some. That's normal to those of us that pay each day. So it's an important thing for you guys, whatever system you're in, Xbox, PlayStation, or Steam, make sure that you get the setup cost going in. What that entails is going over into Elder Scrolls Test by paying the $19.99 one-time fee, then going over to paying the base game fee, which is about $19.99 with some taxes, depending on what area you live in. It's probably about $21. And then going after that, what you have to do is you want to get into a specific game series. And whichever game series you're going into in ESO, it's very sweet and it's rewarding. It's going to actually help the cells replenish by you buying those specific places that are being asked of you. You're not going to be able to pay everything I'm talking about here tonight, so just make sure that you at least pay YouTube or Twitch, because you just got started by listening. If you've been listening to me for a long time, you understand about the multiple outlets of the branches of networks in Elder Scrolls. You're going to understand we need the connections to work. There have been some people that have left, and what we have to do is we have to go in to where they were, in which we don't usually work in. And what I'm talking about with going inside, we have to actually go into the programs in which we've never been in. That's a difficult thing. Going into a program that you have no knowledge of. If you're an actual licensed mechanic and you go into an area in which you don't know, what I was doing earlier, I worked on vehicles, and a person came up to me like, "Hey, do you have an ASE?" It's like, "Yeah, here's my license." And then I don't know why I didn't just say, "Hey, I don't have an ASE," but I was working on an ASE. Over here is a different story because I have paid and I do have the licenses in some form. But in in some of these things, you can't have a literal license. And you're like, "What license do you have?" And then a person says, "Oh, I have a license to Battlespire because I bought Battlespire," and that does speak some miles to where you're going to be able to speak a little bit more. But if you're just speaking off your butt and you haven't paid, well, you're kind of in trouble. And so what I'm talking about with getting us prepared a little bit more, when you're not under on a contract and you're trying to make money, it's more difficult. And what I'm talking about with if you're not inside of a company, if you're not a company employee, you cannot speak about a company. So what I'm talking about with over in Xbox or PlayStation, if I were to specifically go into the system of Xbox or PlayStation, I wouldn't be able to speak about some things because I'm not a company employee of Xbox or PlayStation. So what we have to do here in Steam is we have to replenish the sales. This is going to be a hard thing with the linking process. Going in there into all of the games, looking into all of the games, it's a nightmare right now. Looking in here where the system was launching before, but is launching no longer. It's a little frustrating, but there is hope of what I saw here last night by trying to launch ESO. There was a longer loading time, which gave me a little bit of hope, which will give you guys some hope that the system is savable. When you look into places over on playing on Xbox, in which I've been playing on Xbox, in the game, in the future game of Skyblivion, I kind of went into Skyblivion because I saw the need for Skyblivion to be helped. I went in there and then I was misunderstood about over in Discord. I went over into the Skyblivion Discord, and when the important things came in, I wrote those important things. There were some people that did understand. There were some people that did not understand. And that's the hardest thing to do when you're communicating what needs to be done when you're in your specific place that you know you're supposed to be in, and you are in. That's a good thing. And wherever you work, if you don't have a job, well, it's kind of hard to talk about like what you're doing like during the day because you don't have a job. And then somebody asks you, "How are you going to be able to pay that rent?" I'm like, I hope you help me pay. I'm like, "Well, what are you going to do?" And if you don't have a plan, well, that kind of sucks. And either somebody's going to give you a little bit of change, or they're not going to give you anything. That's kind of what's going on here of how ESO is not actually functioning properly. What I have to do is I have to look into the system a little bit more of the linking process. Over in Necrom, I tried going over into Necrom and I looked in over at Gold Road. There is no physical link that's over in Gold Road currently. However, there is a physical link over in Necrom. Tried to tried to launch ESO from Necrom, but that didn't work. It was the same thing as the base game was doing, such as Necrom was doing. Really, really sucks for us because those of you that are in Necrom are probably freaking out just as much as those that are getting prepared for Skyblivion. We're freaking out because we're in the fishbowl, so to speak. We're in the beta. Xbox is working endlessly. Now we're calling it infinitely, infinite archive that's going on with the game, to where we can get inside of the portals, to where we can get to through the windows. Inside of a computer, it's very simple. Whether it's a Macintosh or a PC, they're basically the same type of device, but they have different components. They're just two different companies, but they're the same type of company. It's an important thing to understand where you belong in what computer system. There's two main computer systems, and when you look at what computer system you're going to be using, you kind of have an idea of where you belong. If you don't know where you belong, if you're using an Android every day, well, you're going to be using a PC essentially later on. You're going to be looking into the PC. You're not going to be looking at a Macintosh. Now, if you're an iPad user or if you're an iPhone user, you'll be looking at dealing with Macintoshes. You'll be dealing with the Apples. So depending upon what device you use, whether you are using an iPhone or an Android, if you're using an Android, you're going to want to stick with PC. You don't want to go over to the Macintosh side. It's a little bit more complex when you're looking at the system requirements that are required to play ESO. We can compress the files. However, if we do not have the necessary required memory to play the game, we're not going to be able to play the game. And some people, they get a device, and then they just ram the memory up to where there is no memory for something to be functional. What I'm explaining with the functionality, you get something that you love, you don't want to get rid of that. You want to keep that. And you're like, hey, how do we compress those files? Let's get that in. But that's not going to work because there's not enough memory. It was seen earlier that there was a megabyte issue going on with a user who was trying to download ESO again. They were getting too many megabytes that were showing on the screen from the downloading screen on Steam. That's a scary thing when you're seeing like 74,000 some odd megabytes being downloaded. That doesn't make sense. And with that not making sense, we have to work to get the computers working more properly. Over in ESO, it gets more technical. I don't understand it all, but I'm speaking this right now because the system is screwed up. I have to speak about things that I don't know, and I have to go into things that I don't know, and then I have to learn about those things I don't know, and to make those things I don't know work. It's kind of maddening going into Skyblivion because I wasn't meaning to go into Skyblivion. You see what I'm saying? Skyblivion has been being worked on the offline side from the creation engine, which is being made from the Skyrim program. And looking into what the developments within ESO, the best I could think of is going over from Greymoor into Horns of the Reach into Imperial City, to where we can make a complete game between Cyrodiil and Skyrim. Inside of here in Steam, you guys are gonna love Steam if you're a Steam user. It's absolutely amazing. And those of you that are Elder Scrolls faithful, make sure that you get Gold Road paid as soon as possible. It's going to actually help us grow. Those people that don't care or are not going to pay, they're not going to help you. Those people that are playing games in PlayStation that don't care about Elder Scrolls, they're not going to help you. When it comes down to other people playing different games, like, yeah, why don't you come over here and play the game I'm playing? When you were playing Elder Scrolls all along, you got to stick with the people that you're running with. And when the crap hits the fan, it's kind of time to do some work. Now, those that have got into Elder Scrolls, you're gonna have to pay temporarily. You're gonna have to pay Gold Road, and you're gonna stick in Gold Road, whether you like it or not. Now, if you don't like it, you might as well just leave now, because the system is being furthered, and this is the very time that we have to rise up and we have to actually build a game. I'm been going in there, and I have been slowly being able to build a little bit in Xbox, not much, but there is some building. It's a fun thing. But on this end here over on Steam, it's a nightmare because ESO is not functional. Not on my own doing. The links have been established for a reason. I'm not for sure why Necrom is not actually acting as the main tower, such as the main tower is the base game. As soon you will understand if you get further in ESO, you will understand how important it is to buy the base game, because that's the program. That's the program for Elder Scrolls in ESO. And when you buy the base game, you are starting out in the Elder Scrolls, wherever in Tamriel you're looking to go. And if you are being presented as having to pay for Gold Road, that's the place to go. You're gonna want to get involved with Gold Road. It's kind of like getting in a group of followers. When you get into a group of followers, they stick to one specific discussion. I don't know much about Gold Road. I did buy Gold Road, but I'm not going to be playing Gold Road. I kind of had said that before, and what I have to explain, the necessary thing of what has to be done. Gold Road has to be paid. It's not about the money. It's about getting the system working properly to where we see the game on the screen. It goes further than that. So we can see communications between players that the consoles are working properly. That's how important having communications inside of the game are, to where we see that each other can communicate to each other. In the game over in the third DLC currently, it's an awesome thing to actually talk to the other members that you're involved with in whichever alliance you are. In the third DLC, you are going to love it if you haven't gotten into it before. Whether you're going into Aldermary Dominion, Daggerfall Covenant, or Ebonheart Pact. Those are the three alliances that are in the third DLC. You guys are going to love being able to communicate to each other. How it is in the system while you're playing, you get to speak to your specific alliance that you're aligned with. You don't want to speak to an Aldermary Dominion member if you're an Ebonheart Pact. Remember, Daggerfall Covenant is coming in. So I'm feeling a lot better because I'm feeling it. Sometimes you just gotta get some things off of your chest. You know, when you first find out about something you were absolutely upset about, you do the same thing. You yell up a storm. When you realize something is messed up in something that you love, you obviously yell about it. For me, I yell and then I calm down and I'm calm. So hopefully you guys are having a good night. As crappy as the night is going as the day was, we have a lot of work. I have a lot of work to do, and I'm hoping you're going to do some of the work with me. I will be right back. Okay, just got back in here. This is kind of a little maddening mess. Because trying to get this in, the music is going, but you might not be able to hear the music. And as things are coming in, you might not understand. And so I'm going to go in here, right here in what's called, this is a type of screen that helps us get into the different programs that are available in Google. You might look at something that's like inside of Google Play, and looking in here on what will help us get the what's the so-called magnet working for us. This is an important thing for you guys to understand going into Legends, making sure that you do pay something inside of Legends. I'm gonna look in here really quick and type in Elder Scrolls. And what does this come up for us in Google Play? Most likely, Legends is going to come in. Right over here on this individual device, Blades is not available on Google Play on this device. But on some of you guys' other devices, you can play Blades. That's a fun Elder Scrolls game. Looking in here, looks like this is kosher of what it appears. However, is the Legends game going to function properly? Legends is available to play in multiple different devices that you in your specific device that you have, whether it's an Android, an iPhone, or a PC or a Macintosh. This is a perfect game for you guys to get involved with in Elder Scrolls in the pre-game warm-up here for ESO. This is going to help you guys tremendously grow within Elder Scrolls. If you're not accustomed to Elder Scrolls just yet, what I am suggesting right now for those of you who are getting involved in Elder Scrolls is to download the Elder Scrolls Legends app, to where you can create that magnet inside. There's available things that you can buy inside of Legends. It's a free app to download, and then what you can do is you can buy different cards inside of the game, card decks, and inside of the game that will help the magnetize the different games in Elder Scrolls. That's an important thing for us to understand. Getting the game running properly, and Legends is the basic principle game here for Elder Scrolls. Getting the game series running before we run which game series we're trying to run. So this is the basic thing of what I'm suggesting for most of you. If you don't have an Xbox, PlayStation, or Steam console, this is a perfect avenue for you guys to be able to play some Elder Scrolls in a game night. This is a fun thing. I'm not going to start up the game here, as I'm just showing where I want you guys to actually download if you have not downloaded yet. It's a free download, and make sure that you are logged into your own account. Don't log in to another person's account. See what I'm saying? If you are logged into another person's account and you download this app, your game in Legends is not going to function properly. If you are on another person's account, see what I'm saying? If you're on another person's account, you're like, hey, you might be like, hey, let's go in together. And then later on down the road, when somebody is away from you, that's their account. They're wanting to play Legends, and you're wanting to play Legends. But look at what happens. You're away from that person, and you're on your own account. Legends won't work because you downloaded the app from another person's account. That doesn't work. So what you have to do is you have to download on your specific account, on your device that you own. That's an important thing to know, and that will solve that little mystery of what you're going to do when you download Legends. Super easy to do, and it will do you some good. You'll understand more and more of what I'm talking about with growing the game to where you can produce another effect outside of Legends. So with that's pretty easy. And what I'm going to do here is I'm going to go off of the screen. Hopefully you guys have a great night. The system is not functioning properly, so I can't do all of the things that are normally done. So I'm a little upset that the system is not functioning like the system normally does. So I have to go back and I have to show what you guys have to do. And those of you guys that are just getting started over in Elder Scrolls, Legends is a perfect game to get involved with. So with that, I hope you have a great night and you have learned a lot. And hopefully I didn't scare you from like me talking some of the time here during this time. I'm not that mean, but I am fairly upset that the system is not functioning. I kind of have to speak up when I'm seeing things wrong in Elder Scrolls. So with you guys going in and getting Legends app, that's going to be the best thing for you tonight. If you haven't done so already, make sure you get the game on your own device and on your own account. That's the basic gist of how we're going to win the game. That's the whole purpose. To where when Gold Road goes away, there will be some of you that will be die hardcore Gold Road players, and then you'll look at us that are Skyblivion or High Isle or Necrom players. You'll look at us. You're like, yeah, let's play. Let's do a battle. And then you're like, wait a minute, I do want a battle. And then that's what you have to do is you have to get into Skyblivion. You have to go over into the Imperial City DLC, and you can battle us. So hopefully it'll be an epic journey for you. Hopefully you have a good night. Bye-bye.